What's going on, everybody? I'm Cade Morehouse with Cade Side Press, and today I am joined by my man, Chandler the Hammer Cole. Some of y'all might know him. He landed the nastiest spinning back kick the tough season has ever seen. And we've talked about that plenty of times, but y'all know who it is. Chandler, how's it going, man?
What's up, buddy? I'm doing good, doing good. Hey, look at you though. Look
Hey,
at you. Hey, hold on. Before you get into me, let's talk about you. The first time you ever interviewed someone, I told you that you needed to do this full time. I was like, you're really good at this. You need to do this more. And then you took it. You took what I said. You took that and you went with it, bro. And I'm super proud of you. I know I'm the worst person to get a hold of. I'm the hardest person to get in contact with sometimes, but uh, I definitely see your stuff constantly, man. Super proud of you.
thank you. You were actually the first professional fighter I ever interviewed, and I'm so happy to be sitting here in front of you again, man. How's everything going?
It's going good, man. Just staying busy right now. Kind of took a break from training and just MMA in general. That last one really mentally drained me. So I took a little break and which is good. Nothing bad. I'm not done by no means. I just need to reset, get my money right, get right with, my wrestling team. I'm the head wrestling coach back home. So we're just now starting to get in the season, but we've been doing a lot of preseason stuff. So getting right with my wrestlers and plus my football team, I'm not the head coach, but I do a lot of the production stuff for my company. So just getting them right, man, getting the little flicks for them and it's been a lot more time with my daughter too. It's been a lot more time with my daughter. So
We're gonna get into all that, but let's get the fight out of the way, and then we'll get to the fun stuff real quick. Thomas Peterson, he's 6-1. I think when you fought him, 5-1. Very, very good all around young fighter. What was fighting him like? Was he strong in there? Did you expect him to go in there grappling? What did you expect from him that that you just couldn't stop? Your game plan just didn't stop it.
so the timing of his shots surprised me, and it's funny because that's usually what my problem is with people. Like people tell me that my timing, that they think that they can wrestle me, they think they can sprawl and stuff, and then my timing's just different. The timing was off, and the strength was just it was different. And being underneath, not really creating a lot of space. He didn't create a lot of space. I went and read. I'm one of the people that like they Google all the stuff, to see what people say. And I've read people's comments, and hopefully this video will help me answer a lot of those questions because I haven't had the opportunity to really speak for myself. But no, just even the preparation, everything was off, man. I picked the wrong night to have a bad night, a really, really bad night. But hats off to Thomas Peterson. Dude is an amazing human, dude. Down to earth, classy, like no joke, like top notch guy. The only thing that do I think that the outcome would have been different if everything was going my way? I don't like to say that. I'm not going to say that because I don't know. But the only thing I regret is not giving him the best version of myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he wouldn't have won. I mean, he's a hell of an athlete, a hell of a wrestler. But I just hate that I came out so flat. Because so many people, messaged me and was like, "Oh, bro, if you wasn't flat, you'd have had that." I'm like, "Nah, shut up. Like, that's not how that works. It's not how that works. Who knows? Who knows if I wouldn't have got slumped or knocked out or something like that if I'd come out, being who I usually am." But man, even backstage, I just told myself when I was warming up, they came in there last minute and was like, "All right, we got to get a video of you warming up to post on Dana White's social media." And I was like, "Oh, dang, okay, let's go." So they seen that video of me hitting the 1-2s and the sprawl. I hadn't even warmed up yet. Like I literally was not. I didn't. We had just got into that, and I was laying back there. I was in my headphones. I was like, "Stay calm. You've been here. You know how this is like. Stay calm. Don't go out there. Don't gas yourself out. Don't have an adrenaline dump." And that's never happened before. A lot of times for me, when I'm backstage, I get very emotional. I cried on the Ultimate Fighter, looking at my gloves because I was looking at those UFC gloves, and I was like, man, I can remember being 12 years old, and it was the first time I had a real birthday party that I was able to collect money from, and I went and bought UFC gloves, and me and my brother fought each other like in the backyard for fun. So I was looking at those gloves, and I was like, man, like look at these, like these are the real thing. Like these ain't the ones that you buy at the store, and even that made me emotional. Tunnel vision, like just that killer mindset, and I didn't get like that. And I told myself, like, just stay calm. You've been here, like, be professional. And the fight, once I walked out and everything was quiet. I got in the cage. I looked at Dana. I gave him a head nod. But I realized that it wasn't tunnel vision. It was just, I was there. And I didn't like that. And then once the fight started, even engaging and throwing a combo, and then we disengaged. I've never heard my coaches ever, and this 100% isn't saying that they didn't do their job. Like they did their job, but they were critiquing me on stuff, and I could hear it because I wasn't tunnel vision. I wasn't that just fight your off instincts, go out there, be a wild man. Like I was listening, and they were like, don't be sloppy, don't bang, get out, Chandler, in and out. And I was like, oh God, like. So then it stopped me from attacking. It stopped me from doing that. So once I got taken down, man, I kind of stayed on the cage because there really wasn't a lot of space. But I knew that his gas tank had shown in previous fights he would start to gas. I knew that would happen. So when he was on top of my lap, I could hear him, and I was like, "Yo, keep going, boy, keep going." Because every time I push, I would see how strong he felt. And the first little bit, I was like, man, he's strong. I can't get no space. And then I heard him breathe, and I was like, all right, here in a second, I'm going to get up. So, like, when people were making those comments on the internet, it was like, bro, you can't just sit there. You got to move. You got to do something. I was like, sometimes you play checkers. Sometimes you play chess. I was playing chess. I was waiting. I was waiting on my move. I was waiting on certain things to happen. And then when I finally created space, I got up. I threw a combo, and I could hear my coaches, don't be sloppy. Don't blow your load. So I stopped. And it was like, dang. Like, then he grabs me. I'm thinking, okay, like, I'm not even worried about it. He can't take me down with this. And then he trips me. And I'm like, dude, I literally just told myself that he could not take me down with this. So it was like, just everything was working against me, bro. It's like being able to hear my coaches, being able to panic, overthink, not do what I wanted to do, just everything. And it just, even the preparation, like we train nothing but stand up. Because I said, all right, my takedown defense is good enough to where I ain't got to really worry about him taking me down, because I don't think he can take me down. I've never been taken down in an MMA fight. I don't think he can. And realistically, that was kind of the delusion that I had, because this guy only trained for takedowns. We talked in the lobby afterwards for like 2 hours. He said that he literally just practiced a jab into a takedown. He said he was going to keep shooting until he finally took me down. He said he thought that I'd probably stuff one or two, but he knew eventually that he'd get me down. So they just practiced jabbing, and a shot, and said anytime he seen me go to turn or spin or anything, that he was just going to bulldoze, and because the kick off the Ultimate Fighter. So his game plan was not to do nothing but wrestle. My game plan was, my confidence was, be in shape to stand up and fight, because he can't take you down. And then he took me down. So we, and even working off stuff off my back, it's just, it's hard to mimic that. I don't have the training partners that look like Thomas Peterson or feel like Thomas Peter. I just don't have those. So, yeah, kudos to him. I seen he signed to fight today, which is great. I'm forever going to be a fan of his, but, I've made the decision that if I don't cut to 205, then that's it for me. If I can't get disciplined enough to cut to 205, then I'm gonna hang it up. I don't want to fight no more. If I can't treat my body right and get down to that 205 or even 185, if I can't even lose this weight, then I don't even want to be called a fighter. And it won't be retiring. I hate that term, because I feel like when people retire, it should be at the end of their career. I have plenty of fights left in me. I will just quit, man. I will quit this. I will quit this sport if I cannot get disciplined enough, because I owe it to myself, I owe it to my fans, I owe it to my daughter, I owe it to everyone who's believed in me, I owe it to all of them. So I know everybody loves heavyweight Chandler because I look the way I do and I perform the way I do, but I just I gotta figure some things out, you know. And after wrestling season, because first and foremost, before I'm a fighter, I love coaching. You know, my coach changed my life. I actually brought him out to Vegas to the fight so he could watch me, because I wanted to share that moment of making it in the UFC with him. It didn't work out for me, but I wanted him to be there. So for me, coaching is the number one thing I do. If you ask my kids right now, if you was to speak to my wrestling team, I think that they would tell you that, like, you know, what I do for them is a lot. I don't know. They might not say I'm the nicest all the time, but they would say that, you know, what I do for them is I go above and beyond. So we get through wrestling season, then I don't know. I got a couple places I can go, a couple places I'd like to go, but just some of the people there, I know when we cross paths, there's gonna be words still said. So I gotta just pick and choose where I go, but I know there's a lot of options. So after February, I think I'm gonna venture out and just see what's out there, where to train, grab, you know, some training partners, stuff like that. So that's the goal right now. Is just to see how far I can really take this.
How close are you to 205? Like how much work do you think you need to put in to get down to 205, and how long do you think that would take you if you really put your mind to it?
A year.
So the next time we could possibly see you, if you everything goes as planned, is probably a year, is when you expect you could get down to 205.
Probably could cut sooner, bro, but at the same time, I want to be an athlete as
I want
well.
to do
You
it the
know,
right way.
yeah, I could easily cut it, but people forget, you know, I've been this for a long time. And not only have I done this, I've been an athlete. People like to crack jokes and shit on the internet, bro. And I think it's funny. But you know, I'm doing front handsprings in practice. I'm running miles. I'm not just running, I'm running miles. And I know that's like a big joke that people like to say, like, oh, ain't no way. But I know what I do and I know how hard I work. We don't really know what the issue is, but I actually got a bunch of labs and stuff done not too long ago, and we're gonna figure it out. You know, my coach is a pharmacist, so we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna, whether or not I got to starve myself out for a couple months to really start to burn those calories that I know for some reason aren't sticking. We're gonna figure it out though, and me and my coach are gonna figure it out together. Like I said, nothing but respect to them. I would hate for them to see this and for them to think that I would blame my loss on them coaching me. They done exactly what they were supposed to do. Me not preparing myself mentally backstage like I usually do, it just was different. It was different. And just a whole new thing, man. Even when I walked in the cage, I just walked. You know, a lot of times it's, you know, just, yeah, like a Donkey Kong face. This one was different, bro. I wasn't pacing back and forth. I wasn't giving him I wasn't like staring in his soul. It wasn't a mind game. It wasn't like everything that I usually do just was not, it just wasn't there. It wasn't what I usually, it wasn't me. And that's the only thing I hate about it, is because Thomas is such a great athlete. Thomas is such a good fighter that I wish I'd have delivered the best version of myself, you know, and just out of respect for him. But congratulations to him, and, you know, making it in the UFC. And, you know, he just signed his first fight in the UFC. So tickled to death for him, dude. Hopefully he shows the world how good he is.
You talk about preparation and how, you know, and when I say that, you said it didn't go as planned. You're one of the hardest working guys that I've talked to, I've seen. I mean, I just know who you are by now, and I know you're a hardworking individual. And you put on your Instagram story a little bit before your fight, I think you said something along the lines, and quote me if I'm wrong, but you said, you know, if I don't do this for me, I at least need to do it for my daughter, my family. You know, do you think that you were heading into this fight, it wasn't that you didn't work hard when you say preparation? You're talking more about, it was like a mental thing, like it was just everything was flat, correct?
So when I say preparation, I mean like game planning, like
Okay.
like the game planning aspect on it. Like I don't have that high level wrestlers to wrestle with. Good wrestlers, but everyone that I wrestle with is lighter than me, and my skill level's high. So it's not that it wasn't a national champion. I didn't have a national champion to rep with, and I could have. That's the thing. I could have. I reached out to Virginia Tech's head coach. I had the opportunity to go out there. They're ranked, I think, third in the country this year. I could have. I just didn't really make the time that I really needed to, and that's on me, you know. So I thought my takedown defense was going to be good enough. We all did. We thought that my cardio was going to be good for to stand up and to stop his takedowns. Not once did I think I was going to be on my back getting elbowed in the face. Or on my back getting elbowed in the face while DC, my favorite, like one of my favorite fighters of all time. When I look at my favorite fighters, of course I look at like, you know, John Jones and like people like that. But when it talks about being a human being, like modeling myself after someone, DC is the guy that really I used to look up to. And, you know, they say, don't meet your heroes. You know, listening to him talk about Thomas and talk about me after the fight was probably one of the hardest things I've done as an athlete. Just knowing how many times I've looked up his highlights, how many times I've screen recorded his fights and then paste them to a video of me, us doing the same exact moves, us doing everything, me modeling myself. And people like, when I was at 205 or even just at first at heavyweight, when I was like 230, like so many people like talked about me and him being a lot alike. And to hear him sit there and first of all, coach Thomas during the fight, that sucked. And then, you know, because he's commentating, like he was just talking, but that sucked. And then another thing was just after the fight, whenever I got a chance to watch, he was like, I don't think Thomas deserves a contract because he literally just beat up on a guy that couldn't wrestle. And it's like, dude, I'm a fucking wrestling coach. Like, you know, and that did hurt. So I don't know. There's a lot of mental battles right now that I need to deal with before I make this comeback. And I'm definitely going to make the comeback. I just got to make sure that everything's right. Everything's good on my end.
So the last question I have about fighting, you say you're going to make a comeback at 205, but you also said if you can't do it, you're going to just quit the sport. My question for you is, how confident, what is the probability that you make this comeback?
I mean, it's going to happen. If the fans think that I'm going to go out the way I did, they're crazy. I mean, it's going to happen. But I just got to hold myself accountable. I could easily come back at heavyweight, fight these regional guys, get a few wins, you know, and just call it quits. End with a 13-4 record, 14-4 record. But no, I'm gonna hold myself to a higher standard. I've always been like that. I've always told myself that. And I'm getting to the age now where I'm seeing more wisdom about it. I'm seeing more, you know, even my way of life, like the things that I'm putting together outside of fighting. There's a lot of things that are coming together, and it's not by accident. It's literally by hard work. So I'm definitely gonna make it happen, and I'm definitely gonna get down. And like I said, if not, then I quit. You know, if I don't make the weight, then I don't need to fight. I don't need to. But the goal is to make it. I haven't, like I said, I haven't been training, haven't been doing anything like that. Just been enjoying life, man. This has been 10 years of solid work. You know, in 2019, I was going to retire, and I quit training for about 6 months. But that was during COVID and stuff. And then I had a falling out with my coach because I was young and immature. And when I came back, you know, going through my breakup, going through everything I was going through mentally, I went from not ever wanting to fight again to being a madman. And I think right now, I've worked my ass off nonstop. I'm talking about unreal work for about 3 years. And I know exactly mentally where I'm at. And I'm not a little boy trying to find my way in life. Like, I know who I am. I know what I have to offer. I know things that I want to do outside of fighting eventually when it's all said and done. So I really want to start putting a lot of those wheels in motion as well. But I do plan on starting training again soon. I'm actually, when I get off here, I'm about to go to the gym and run for the first time since my fight, since I about ripped my toe off. And I'm gonna go run. I'll probably lift some weights and stuff, and maybe hit the bag. We'll see. And I don't know. It's just taking it one day at a time. But I do know that I'm still chosen to do great things. I know I am. And I don't, all these little bum ass people on the internet that always want to, put their 2 cents in because they watched a couple MMA fights. I laugh a lot at those because I realize that, like, if the difference in me and those people or those people behind a keyboard, they probably work a 9 to 5. I do what I want. I literally have my own schedule set, and I do a lot of stuff on my own to make things happen. And I don't ever work a day. I've never worked a day of my life since I've started this life. I used to work at a prison, and it was terrible. Well, what my supervisors and like the senior officers and stuff used to say and try to make us do, like, they were pieces of shit, dude. I told myself I never want to be in that position again. But I know that now I'm my own boss. I create my own schedule. I do everything, and I do exactly what I love, and I love it. I love my life right now. So I'm gonna get in good. I'm in a good headspace. Other than Daniel Cormier telling me I can't wrestle, I would like to talk to him. We're gonna have a talk one day. A wrestling match. I want to wrestle his old ass. I mean, I know he'll win, but I want to wrestle him anyways, just so he knows I don't absolutely suck. And then get right back to work. Get right back to doing what I do best, and that's fighting. Because if Chandler's not the fighter, if I don't accomplish the dream that I tell people that I was going to, then I'm what did I really do? I inspire a lot of people. I've done a lot of great things. I've made it, very far compared to people that are from my area. But if I don't do what I said I was going to do, how's my story end? So still a lot of great opportunities.
Chandler, we'll step away from fighting for a second. Tell me a little bit about Cole Productions and what you got going on, man.
Yeah, so right now we're just focusing on I'm about a camera away and a mic away from this being like a real full-time little thing. I got people who actually work for me and people who actually, like, we're putting the wheels in motion. So I'm excited about my podcast and just getting it started back. Season 2 should be soon. We just got some finances we got to deal with. And as soon as we get those taken care of, man, it's going to be good to go.
Shooting music videos and all that too, or just the podcast?
We do everything, man. If you need it shot, you need a video, we got it. So we do like football highlights, training highlights, music videos. We do it all. We do it all. So this weekend I went and took pictures at a wedding. So when I say that we're capable of doing anything, we're capable of doing anything. So
tell me about coaching wrestling, and you've already talked about it a little bit, but just tell me what that's like. And then also, I see you coaching football, man. I see you guys out here. You're always out here posting your kids, man, and you look proud of them. Tell me what it's like to share the moment just coaching kids.
MJ, you want to be on camera? This is my cousin's here now. He kind of works for me. You want to be on camera? Come here. What you showed me? No, show. You don't interrupt me now. He was in a good question. This is my cousin.
Hey, what's up, man?
You're on an interview right now. What'd you show me? What kind of camera? Okay. Well, let big cousin do his job. Okay.
It's gonna kick us out of here in 10 minutes. So after this question, I'm gonna ask you 5 more, and then I'll let you out of here. Like 5 quick yes or no questions.
I got you, brother.
Do you want to repeat my last question?
Yes, please, man.
What's it like to share the moment just coaching kids in wrestling and football? You seem really proud of what you do and what you've accomplished with these kids. I've seen a lot of the football tapes. I haven't seen any of the wrestling tape from your kids wrestling or anything, but I've definitely seen the football. But what's the whole experience like, just being able to share the moment with kids?
Man, I tell you what the best part is, and when it comes to the football, I don't think it has nothing to do with me, just because we got a great group of kids coming up. But last year we went 1-9, and we won our last game of the season. So we were 0-9, and we won. So 1-9, like against a rival of ours. So it was a good way to cap off the season. No playoff runs. This year we're 6-4, but every game we've been in, we've only lost by a touchdown. So it's like we're a touchdown away from being 10-0. And dude, that just being a part of that and being on the sideline, getting to record those kids and stuff. Because if I could, I would be down there in practices and stuff and really helping those guys. I really would be, because each of those kids, they still talk to me, come to me for advice and stuff like that. Just me being who I am, and some of them like get a kick out of who I am too. Every time I'm in the hallway, they're like, "Oh my God, is that Chandler Cole MMA?" And I'm like, "Shut your mouth, boys! Don't be putting no disrespect on my name." But no, I love to just be around it, man, and be a part of it. The coaching staff is amazing. And just dude, like the kids are good, and a lot of those football kids wrestle for me. And the one thing I do get proud about of wrestling, because I've tried my best to do my part. So that's what I'll say on that, And since I'm the head wrestling coach, I feel like I have a huge role to play. In 2020, 2021, we had 2 kids, and they weren't bad. It was just bad because one was a 120 and one was a heavyweight. So they were polar opposites, couldn't train together, couldn't practice. We would come in for a practice. I'd have them run, shadow drill, stuff like that. It was just hard, and it was a really tough thing for them to do because we couldn't get the ball rolling. You know what I'm saying? It's like we just couldn't. And I felt like the program was going to get canceled. I felt like it was going to be my fault, something that I wanted to do. And you're talking about coming – so 2020 – was when all that stuff happened, when I wanted to retire, break up, everything. 2021, coming out of that year, the first of that year, they finally get wrestling. We only have 2 kids. We can't really do much because we only got 2 kids. And I really felt like it was going to be the end of the program, but I kept telling myself, be optimistic, things are going to happen. In June of 2021, I fought for PFL. When I got back, the town had a huge party for me at a Mexican restaurant, and they like all met together and like they seen me on TV and they loved it. So when I got back, man, people acted like what I did was amazing. And I was like, man, I don't really feel like that's really, anything. But the next season I had like 8 wrestlers, like 7 or 8. I was like, okay, this feels a little better, like I like this. So that season, I started coaching. I have about 8 kids. My heavyweight came back. My 120 quit. He ended up not coming back the next year. So I had my heavyweight come back, and we're wrestling, and everything's going good, and we're getting a lot better. I can tell that we're growing, we're maturing. And then the UFC calls, and they want me to be on the Ultimate Fighter. So it's like the last week of January, I set my heavyweight down. I'm like, listen, the UFC call. They invited me. I don't know how that works for everybody else. The first time I tried out, and I put in an application. The second time they called and wanted me. So I thought that was real cool. So I reached out and I asked my heavyweight. I sat him down. I said, hey, listen, if you want me to leave, I'll go be on the show. If you want me to stay, I'll stay here. It's your senior season, whatever. He said, if you don't go, I'll be mad at you. So I was like, okay, absolutely. So we got to, I ended up packing my stuff, leaving, going to quarantine for a week, being on the Ultimate Fighter. So that was cool. When I got back from the Ultimate Fighter, season was over. It was like in March. So whenever I finally got back in March, I greeted all my kids. They were like, let's start wrestling now. So all summer long, all spring, summer, fall, they wrestled. And then in the wintertime, they came back last year. They were 10 times better. Like this, I was like, okay, these kids are really like working. Like this is awesome. So we start working, start getting better. And then this past year, I gave them the spring off in the summer so I could train. But we've come back in the fall, best group of kids I've ever had. As far as technically, physically, we're older, we're more mature. We got a full team now. It ain't like 7 or 8 of us. We got a whole team, and we're just ready to rock and roll. I'm excited to see what the season does for us. And Eastside's just looking for them to get their first state champion. When I say I'm Eastside, Like, this is the east side E. You know, I got it tattooed on me. Like, when I tell you I'm down for mine, I'm down for mine. That's where I went to school. That's where I graduated. I have the record for the most wins in Eastside history, and I always tell them kids, like, my goal is to make y'all better than I could have ever dreamed about being. Like, that's the true definition of a coach. A coach should want you to do way better than them. So I remind them all the time, like, guys, I know people will talk about my accolades and stuff I've done, but I want y'all to shine so bright that people forget about me. Because if y'all can do that, if y'all can work that hard and just trust me and get to where that level is, then I've done my job. I ain't worried about it.
Hey, I love to hear it. I'm glad you're having fun coaching, man. It sounds like you're really down for the kids, man. And kids love that and they feed off that. Zoom's giving me 3 more minutes. I got 5 questions for you, and then we'll get you out of here. Question 1. What's your favorite thing to eat after you weighed in and you're ready to go? What's the first thing you go and eat? When you can eat, obviously, when you replenish your fluids and everything.
Honestly, some type of pasta, some type of like chicken Alfredo, something good. But I was hoping he was gonna ask me after my fight. That's a better question.
All right, what's the favorite post-fight meal?
Pizza, bro. Pizza. I killed it.
I love it. Favorite movie?
Oh God. I just got done watching all the Saw movies, and those are up there.
I just watched the last one 2 nights ago.
You watched the last one?
The last one 2 nights ago.
I did. I went back and watched all of them, and then watched the new one. Yeah, so those are
good.
Cool. Hardball with Keanu Reeves is pretty good too.
Favorite hobby?
Photography, videography.
I thought you were going to say coaching, but that makes sense.
And coaching is a part of life, bro.
Part of life. Okay. So you weren't thinking of it like a hobby. Okay, what is your favorite? Let's go submission. What's your favorite submission?
It's a submission that me and my coach call the bear trap. It's like when they sit out and you grab the head and the neck and you kind of put your chin on their shoulder and you crunch them and you bring them back, and it's a very tight log, a lot of pressure, and I tap a lot of people out from it.
What is your most lethal weapon that you have in your skill set?
Leg kick.
Nice. Chandler, I got one more for you, and then we'll let you out of here. You did lose on the Dana White Contender Series, and I know you have a lot of mental battles going on. I personally believe in you. I know a lot of others, especially in Virginia, believe in you. When can we expect you back? And is the UFC still your main goal if you get down to 205, or are you more willing now that how everything's played out to fight for a different promotion?
Definitely 205, probably the end of next year, and UFC is always the go. I ain't trying to be on nobody's B team.
I'm Cade Morehouse with Cade Side Press. This is my man, Chandler, the Hammer Cole. We out.